Hi out there, and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Dr. Yolanda Wassersag. I am the Assistant Registrar Student Recruitment here at the University of King's College, and right now we're in the beautiful King's College boardroom. What we're going to do this evening for about the next 25 to 30 minutes is talk about the process for applying to scholarships here, how our scholarships work, who's eligible to apply, and all sorts of helpful tips and tricks about what makes for a great application. So I'm going to chat about that for about 10 minutes. I'll show you where to find some information on our website that's helpful. And then I'm going to bring in a special guest, Dr. Peter O'Brien, who's the Vice President of the university, and he's also on our scholarship committee. So King's has two kinds of entrance scholarships for new students, and I'll kind of walk you through where on our website you can find information about those. I'm just going to share my screen so you can see what I see while we do this. Great. So if you go into your web browser and visit the University of King's College page, which, whoop, sorry about that, guys, is right here at ukings.ca. The very first thing that you'll see on our homepage is information about scholarships right here where it says find out more. You can click that and go straight to the information you're looking for, but our homepage changes sometimes throughout the year. So if you ever log into ukings.ca and you don't see information where you can find out more about scholarships, you can also get to that same spot by going to the blue panel on the side of the screen, click on admissions, then finances, and then scholarships, and it'll take you to where you need to go. So today we're going to focus on new student scholarships, and this is where you can find that information. Right. So 95% of students who come to King's get some form of financial support from us. And I should say that 95% of students, they're probably getting a mixture of scholarships or bursaries, maybe both or one or the other. I'll mention bursaries a little bit more later and we can talk about those, but scholarships are the focus for right now. And if you scroll down, you'll also notice that we have scholarships for our undergraduate programs and also for our graduate and advanced programs. If you are listening to this webinar right now and you're planning to apply for a graduate or advanced program, like our one-year Bachelor of Journalism program, our Masters of Journalism program, or our Master of Fine Arts in Narrative Nonfiction, you're definitely going to want to go to the graduate and advanced section to get the info you need. And for all of our undergraduates, click here. So there are two different kinds of undergraduate scholarships at King's: the general entrance scholarships and the major entrance awards. General entrance scholarships are the ones that are really straightforward. If you are looking to get a general entrance scholarship from us, all you need to do is apply to the university by March 1st. There's no additional paperwork you need to fill out. There's no additional scholarship application form. Just apply to the university by March 1st, send us your transcripts, go through the regular application process, either by filling out a paper application form or an online application form, and we are going to automatically consider you for a general entrance scholarship. You'll notice, as we list right here on our website, that those scholarships are based on your academic average coming out of high school. So if you have an academic average of at least an 80%, you're guaranteed to get some amount of money from us. The amount of money that you get for a general entrance scholarship goes up depending on how high your average is. So students who have an academic average of a 95% or higher, we offer $3,500 to those students. And I also should mention that the numbers that are listed on our website are based on the values we gave out last year. They will most likely be the exact same this year or even go up, but they won't be going down. So those are the numbers that we have on our website for the purposes of giving you a sense of how it works. So those are the general entrance awards. Anyone who applies will be considered. If you are a Canadian student, if you're an international student, if you're from any part of the areas that we have students from, any student at all, even if you are straight from high school or if you're a mature student, you'll be automatically considered for a general entrance award. So those ones are the easy ones. Let's talk about the ones that are a little more complex and require a little bit more work on your end, which are the major entrance scholarships. Major entrance scholarships do have an application process. And one of the reasons why we're doing this webinar is that there's also a deadline that you need to be aware of, and that deadline is January 15th. So today is December 12th while we're doing this webinar. So you have about a month. And I would say one key tip is manage your time well, make a plan. There are parts of this process that require you to do a little bit of work, and you aren't going to want to be rushed and do it all at the last minute. So start early, make your plan now, because that January 15th deadline, unfortunately, that is a hard deadline. We are going to need you to respect that deadline. As long as all of the documents that you need to submit are in the mail by January 15th, that's great. If you put them in the mail on that day, that's fine. They'll postmark it, and even if we get it a few days after, as long as we see that postmark from January 15th, your application is valid and will definitely be assessed. For all of the different major entrance awards, we need to see an original essay written by you. And right here on our website is the topic for our essay. I'm going to skip over talking about this right now because a little bit later, I'm going to ask Dr. Peter O'Brien, who is on our scholarship committee, to come join me in this webinar. And he's going to talk a little bit more about what it takes to write a great scholarship essay. So I'll be inviting him in to talk a little more about the topic, some advice for how to do that well. But let's get back to the nitty-gritty. There's a bunch of different major awards, and they each have their own unique set of criteria. You might be eligible for more than one, and if you are, you should apply to more than one. You can apply to any or all of them that you're eligible for. That does mean that it's going to take a little more time, so I'm going to go back to the thing I said just a few seconds ago about managing your time and not feeling like you're rushed to get it all done at the last minute. So I'll just walk you through the awards quite quickly and mention the criteria for each of them. The first one that you'll see listed here is the Dr. Carrie Best Scholarship. This particular award is any applicants of African Canadian descent or Indigenous descent are eligible to apply. And if you're planning to be an undergraduate student at King's, you're eligible for that award. It's named after Carrie Best, who I just want to talk about her for a second because she's incredibly cool. Carrie Best is an amazing Nova Scotian publisher and journalist. You can see her picture right here. She published the second ever Black newspaper coming out of Nova Scotia. It ended up being published nationally. It was called The Clarion. She covered all sorts of incredible stories about human rights, civil rights. She was an outspoken defender of justice, and she wrote articles about incredible people like Viola Desmond, the woman who we now honor on the $10 bill. So she's pretty incredible. We're really honored to be able to think about her and honor her memory through having a scholarship in her name. So that's something to keep in mind if you decide to apply for the award. The other thing to keep in mind if you're thinking about applying for the Carrie Best Award is that along with your application form and your original essay, you're also going to need to get 2 letters of reference as part of that award. One of them should probably be from a teacher or someone who can talk about your academic skills and achievements. And another one might be from an employer or someone who knows you from a place where you volunteered or had a part-time job or did some community service. Someone like that who can speak about you and what you're all about. So that's the Carrie Best Award. The next one on the list is the Sobey Scholarship, the Donald R. Sobey Family Scholarship. This award is valued at $50,000 over 4 years, so it is our most valuable award. It's going to be given to a Canadian student from any part of Canada can apply. And it is based on both your academic achievements and also your community service and outreach. So if you're someone who does have interesting part-time jobs or volunteers in interesting places, or you're a leader in your community, you should absolutely apply. We would love to hear about that. And you'll notice that the application form asks quite a lot of detailed questions about extracurricular activities, jobs that you've had, all sorts of types of community leadership that you've been involved with. For the Sobey Award, we also need to see 2 letters of reference along with an original essay. The next one is the Harrison McCain. It's valued at $16,000 over 4 years. Any high school graduate in Canada is eligible to apply for the Harrison McCain Award. The Harrison McCain is based on your academic achievements, and it's also based on financial need. So you'll notice that when you look at the application form for the Harrison McCain, there will be quite a few questions in there about financial need as well. The next one on the list is the Prince Scholarship. The Prince Scholarship is new to King's, sort of. It was originally established at King's in 1959, and then it lasted for about 10 years. But after about 10 years, we stopped giving out that award because one of the major benefactors passed away. And it was something that kind of fell by the wayside for a few years. But in the recent history of the university, there's been a lot of enthusiasm about bringing it back. And we're really, really excited to be able to offer the Prince Scholarship again. It's valued at $24,000, and it's open to any African Nova Scotian student. So it's a really special thing to be able to bring back. The Prince Scholarship is named after Samuel Prince, who you can see right here. Samuel Prince was a pretty remarkable man. He was a curate in an Anglican church, but he was also a prominent social scientist. He was a keen observer of how the Halifax explosion changed the city and the reactions that this city had and the people in it to the trauma of that incredibly terrifying and scary event. And he wrote an incredible book about catastrophe and social change. So this award honors his memory. And as I said, it's open to any student of African Nova Scotian descent. And then the last major award on the list is the Colin Starnes Award. This one is also open to any Nova Scotian student. It's named after Colin Starnes, one of the former presidents of King's. He was president of the university for 10 years, from 1993 to 2003. And it is based on financial need as well as academic merit, and it's valued at the total cost of tuition and fees for the first year of university. So those are all the major awards. They each have their own unique application form, which you can find when you go on our website. So here's the one for the Colin Starnes. You'd click Learn More right here to get the one for the Prince Scholarship, and so on. You're going to want to print them out. I would strongly recommend that you read them over carefully, look at the questions, think about the criteria. For some of these awards, you will need to go to your way to find a letter of reference, for example. And when I invite Dr. Peter O'Brien in to share his tips, he can say a little bit more about some strategies you might use for asking a referee to write a letter of reference on your behalf. For some of these awards, you may have to ask your parent or guardian to sign off on them. And for some of the awards, that part of it isn't necessary. So as I'm trying to get across, a really, really important part of this process is planning and making sure that you have enough time to do the parts that you need to do. The last thing I want to say before I invite Dr. O'Brien to join me up here is that along with the general entrance awards and the major awards, King's also has bursaries. Bursaries are given to students purely on the basis of financial need. They don't really have anything to do with your grades or your extracurriculars. And we put out a bursary application form just a little bit later in the year. If you have already applied to King's, then you took a look at our application form and you might have noticed that we asked you a question on that application about if you're planning to get a loan to finance your education. And if you clicked yes when you filled out your application, then we're going to be reaching out to you to let you know when the bursary application is online and how to apply. If you haven't applied to King's yet, please do. And when you do, you'll see that really clearly on our application form. It'll ask you if you are a student who's planning to apply for a loan. Check yes if you'd like to get more information about bursaries. I also wanted to mention that the information I'm giving today is just about the scholarships that King's offers internally. But if you are looking for resources about financial aid, the truth is that there are tons and tons of scholarships out there for you to access. You just need to be willing to do a little bit of research. For example, some of the major employers across Canada will have employee benefit systems where if your parent works there, your parent or guardian works there, they may be eligible to apply for scholarships for you, which is a pretty incredible thing. So that's something to maybe ask your parent or guardian about, depending on where they work. Another one to consider, a lot of people's community centers, churches, synagogues, and mosques will have all sorts of scholarship opportunities available for community members. So don't be shy. You should ask. The only way to find out about this information is to get out there and do the research. And another one to consider is that if you are a student who's differently abled, any kinds of needs, there are a lot of scholarship programs out there that are specifically geared towards students with specific sets of needs. For example, check out the website disabiltyawards.ca to see a list of all of the awards that are out there across Canada for students with different types of needs, both medical or physical. Totally worth checking out. I just recently read an article on CBC about how literally millions of dollars in scholarship money go unclaimed in this country every year. So it's certainly worth looking into and doing the research.